Today is March 13th, and with so much news around the Department of Education getting cut by 50% and Trump's attempt to move student loan servicing to the Department of Treasury, I had to come out with an update because there's been so many questions, not just by lenders, but also borrowers, those with student loan debt, on what should I be doing? Should I be worried? Should I just stay in forbearance? What are our options? Should I do nothing now? What if I want to pay off my debt? What if I'm trying to get forgiveness? Is this going to be impacted? We're getting lots of questions. So today's episode will be answering those questions. Okay. First and foremost, I want to say, don't let this cause anxiety or concern, like keep you up at night, because the reality is, even if the Department of Ed no longer oversees student loans and it's moved to the Department of Treasury, the servicers most likely will not change. There's been a lot of servicer movement already, and that's why people are making late payments. Credit is getting dinged. I do want to address that a little. What are your options if that has happened to you as well? So let's just start with first part of this episode, news update. Second part is, what can you as a borrower do about this? And then I want to address not just what can you do from changing plan standpoint, but also from a credit standpoint. So that's what this episode will be. So first and foremost, there's tons of headlines coming out. I know I gave you a quick preview on what some of that news is, but the Department of Ed Secretary, Linda McMahon, is coming out and talking. It's funny because they'll ask her about different program and policies and she won't even know what they are, like the acronyms or anything. So it's very clear she's new to the job. She even proclaims herself she's been 5-7 days on the job, 5 or 7 days, something like that on the job. So she basically came in and was given the task, hey, make yourself no longer have a job, as in cut down this department. The complication is that the Department of Ed was created by Congress. So she also acknowledges she can't completely shut down the Department of Ed without congressional authority. That's the first part, right? But that doesn't mean they can't lay people off and gut the department. Trump is trying to move over servicing to the Department of Treasury. That's not as simple as it sounds, because there are a lot of rulemaking and a lot of rules and oversight that the Department of Ed provides to these servicers. For example, we're going to accept these plans. If borrowers have complaint, how do you moderate and improve the servicing of student loans? That has historically been done by the Department of Ed. So now they're asking the Department of Treasury. It's not a money collection function because that's done by the servicer. It's oversight of the servicers, but it is about, yes, that oversight. How do we improve the system? How do we make filing into income-driven plans more accessible? It's not just collecting a paycheck from student loan borrowers, right? There's a lot of different programs that I was going through and reading the master promissory notes we all sign. And you have rights to income-driven repayment. If you're a public servant, you have rights to public service loan forgiveness. This has all been overseen by the Department of Ed, and the Department of Treasury has no experience or expertise in any of these programs. So even if he does it, there's going to be a huge delay and lag with the Department of Treasury trying to understand what it is they're supposed to be mandating through these servicers, okay? Servicers do not do a particularly good job already, and now imagine their oversight body being somebody that doesn't even know the rules. That's going to be a very interesting and tumultuous and very disastrous transition from what I already know of servicing. So here at LoanSense, our customer support has been calling servicers consistently, okay, over a long period of time. And we know that from our recent calls in the last week or so, including as up to date as yesterday, the wait times are over an hour to get a hold of your servicer, right? That's one thing. The second piece is not just our wait time super long, but the online system is down. The way that these servicers are getting the documentation for income driven, for PSLF, has all been shut down. When you try to even get a PDF online to file it yourself, you get an error, not found. The forms are not found. They are shutting it down to lessen the amount of tasks these servicers are having to manage while all this transitioning is happening. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, the rate of call pickup and the servicing and helping people has gone down so much, like waiting for hours. I mean, to get a hold of somebody for up 2.5 hours, somebody from our support team was waiting. Well, of course, she was doing other work. But also recently, while all this SAVE commotion was happening, the Department of Ed said, we're going to service all PSLF ourselves, and moved it from OHELA. So now if they were to shut this down in the Department of Ed, that would have to be done by the Department of Treasury. They would literally have they would have to be the body that approves public service loan forgiveness applications. Again, no experience doing that, okay? So I'm very concerned about those issues as we see. They're also supposed to help track payments. Who's going to manage that system online? Right now, that system online is just not being updated, not being touched, and not being dealt with. Let's say it that way. So that's the news. That's what's happening. Okay. Now let's talk about what you as a borrower, or even as a lender, if you're listening to this and you have borrowers with student debt, what is it that you can do? If you're not trying to buy a home and it is okay to maintain and be in forbearance, you can simply stay there. If you're like, I really want to pay down my loans, I don't want to continue to be in forbearance, there's nothing that says you cannot pay on your loans. If you're just interested in reducing the amount of interest, you can continue to pay your loans, okay? There's nothing that says you can't make a payment. The first thing I like to tell borrowers with all this transition is to go to studentaid.gov, log in, go to My Aid, download your file, and find out who your current servicer is. That's really important because all this transition, servicers have changed, people's mailing addresses are old, so they're mailing out statements of change of servicer to an address that you no longer use, and they say your payment starts X date, you didn't notice it, so now you're behind. A second thing I like to tell people to do is, number one, make sure their address is updated. Number two, go to annualcreditreport.com, pull your credit report, and make sure that the time you've been in forbearance in the past have not counted as missed payments, because that will hurt your credit, okay? So I would say if you have been in forbearance for at least 3 to 4 months, pull your credit report. It's free, annualcreditreport.com. Check out what is going on. What is your servicer reporting, right? It should also have the updated servicer on there. Those are the 2 action items right away. The third piece, if you're trying to buy a home, there are options to enroll into I like to call self-imposed. This is not an official term, but it's a self-imposed payment plan where we can help you here at LoanSense. And I say we can help you because there's no online filing system right now. We have the forms, we have e-file access that's outside of the federal system where we can help you enroll in a self-imposed payment plan for at least 12 months so you can get the documentation you need for mortgage closing. We're working very closely with these servicers to get the documents borrowers need. It's not 100% dialed in yet, but again, this complete shutdown of filing has only happened for a week or so. So we're in the testing mode, but at least we're in action to be able to help borrowers get the docs they need for the mortgage close process. Okay. So if that's you can get started for absolutely free. Get a free plan on what it would look like at myloansense.com. And when you're ready to move forward, that you only pay us when you're ready to move forward. We can help you get the plan, get into the plan, the payment you need for your mortgage close process. That's the second thing. Lastly, I did say that I wanted to address the credit last, but I addressed it ahead of the filing. And then lastly, if you are being hit negatively with negative credit impacts when in fact you were in forbearance and they're filing it as missed payments, we also have access to the information that can be sent to your servicer to correct that. Again, you don't send it to the credit bureaus. When it comes to student loans, you send it direct to the student loan servicers. So that is information. I hope that's helpful. We are here on standby to help people through this tumultuous time, through this hard time. We understand the pain, the anxiety of having to deal with all these processes, these systems that are just very unclear. What is it you should be doing, okay? Here at LoanSense, we will walk with you in this journey so that we can reduce as much of the uncertainty as possible and understand what goals you as a borrower are trying to achieve and how we can get you there, okay? Again, myloansense.com. If you're a lender looking at this video, we are also happy to give you information. You can sign up to send people and use our estimator tools completely for free at myloansense.com/lender. Let us know how we can be helpful. have a great rest of the week. And of course, I will be recording updates as we hear more updates. So if it's really important that you stay in tune because you have a goal to buy a house in the next few months, please open our emails and read them. We will be updating on a weekly, if not more frequent basis on what is happening. And if there's any breaking news, we will be bringing it to you. So please subscribe and like so you can receive our information. Have a great day.